Hi, Clear Lake Presbyterian Church. This is Josh Young coming to you with your Tuesday daily reflection. That's Tuesday, April 7th. First off, happy Holy Week to you all. I know that it's going to be a different type of Holy Week and it's going to be a different type of Easter. And yet we are still called to be the church, still called to be the ones lifting up Jesus Christ this week as we remember his journey to the cross, remember his journey to Jerusalem. I've been speaking a lot with a lot of our local and global mission partners lately. And one of the things that one of our local partners brought up was this, just concerning the COVID-19 crisis. He mentioned to me and to a group of us that for some of us, this is a temporary situation, having to shelter at home, having to find supplies. And yet for so many in our world, in our country, this type of living is an everyday reality. For those who are under-resourced, for those who have some pretty bad pre-existing conditions, for some who are physically disabled, getting daily supplies is always a grind, right? Being sheltered in place is a everyday lived reality. Not knowing where one's next meal is coming can be scary for some, and yet that's the reality that they live in every day. And I couldn't help but reflect on Matthew chapter 25. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read from verses 37 through 40. It says this. It says, "Then the righteous will answer Jesus, 'Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?' And the king will answer them, 'Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me.'" You know, church, my desire is that one thing that might come out of this whole situation is that our love and our empathy and our compassion for those who are under-resourced, for those who really do live in need day to day, would grow and increase. And that we would even now make the choice to partner with them, to love them the way that Jesus loved us. And so with that in mind, here's a song that I wrote. I know I've been doing songs every week, but it's a song that I wrote about this passage as I've been reflecting on this passage and reflecting on the situation that we find ourselves in. It's called "Cry Your Tears." Cool. In our gardens of abundance, would you plant the seeds of love for every stranger who lives in need? Help us see your beauty in every face, who cries out in hunger, who longs for grace. Help us see with your eyes, cry the tears that you cry. Feel your hunger and thirst, know the wounds in your side. From our castles of protection, help us break the walls that keep us from each other. Oh, let them fall. Help us hear the voices of those left behind, the oppressed and abandoned. Let us see from their eyes. Help us see with your eyes. Cry the tears that you cry. Feel your hunger and thirst, know the wounds in your side. You lay thirsty and hungry, and you cry to us. Sick in prison alone, Lord, will we choose to love? Help us see with your eyes. Cry the tears that you cry. Feel your hunger and thirst, know the wounds in your Cry the tears that you cry. Feel your hunger and thirst. Know the wounds in your side. That's all for now, Clear Lake Presbyterian Church. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube page if you haven't done so yet. And be sure to find us and like us on Facebook.